Alright, I'm reading out of Illustrations of Masonry. A person wishing to become a Mason must get someone who is a Mason to present his petition to the lodge, and a committee of 2 or 3 appointed to inquire into his character and report to the next regular communication. So it says, to the worshipful master wardens and brethren of lodge number blank of free and accepted Masons, the subscriber residing in blank of lawful age and by occupation of blank begs leave to state that, unbiased by friends and uninfluenced by mercenary motives, he freely and voluntarily offers himself a candidate for the mysteries of Masonry. Should his petition be granted, he will cheerfully conform to all the ancient established usages and customs of the fraternity. Signed blank AB. So then they pass around a ballot box, and everybody has a black ball or a white ball. With a partition in the box, the members put both of their balls into the box as their feelings dictate. When the balls are received, the box is presented to the master. The candidate, if present, is conducted into a small preparation room adjoining the lodge. So the candidate is divested of all his apparel and furnished with a pair of drawers. The candidate is then blindfolded, his left foot bare, his right in a slipper, his left breast and arm naked, and a rope called a cable tow placed around his neck and left arm. So in this posture, the candidate is conducted to the door, where he is caused to give 3 distinct knocks, which are answered by 3 from within, and the conductor gives 1 more, which is also answered from within. The door is then partly opened, and the junior deacon generally asked,
"Who comes there? Who comes there? Who comes there?"
And the conductor, alias the senior deacon, answers,
"A poor blind candidate who has long been desirous of having and received a part of the rights and benefits of this worshipful lodge, erected to God and held forth to the holy order of St. John, as all true fellows and brothers have done who have gone this way before him."
The junior deacon then asks,
"Is it of his own free will and accord he make this request? Is he duly and truly prepared, worthy and well qualified, and properly vouched for?"
So then they start messing with him. The candidate then enters, the junior deacon at the same time pressing his naked left breast with the point of a compass. So this deacon walks up with a compass that has kind of like a spike on it, and he kind of jabs the guy in his breast. And he says, "Did you feel anything?" And then the apprentice says, "I did." The junior deacon and candidate, "What did you feel?" Answer, "A torture." The junior deacon then says, "As this is a torture to your flesh, so may it ever be to your mind and conscience if you ever should attempt to reveal the secrets of Masonry unlawfully." The candidate is then conducted to the center of the lodge, where he and the senior deacon kneel, and the deacon says the following prayer.
"Almighty Father of the universe, to this our present convention, and grant that this candidate for Masonry may dedicate and devote his life to thy service, and become a true and faithful brother among us. Endue him with the competency of the divine wisdom, that by the secrets of our art he may be the better enabled to display the beauties of holiness to thy Father, of thy holy name, so mote it be. Amen."
So the master then asked the apprentice, "In whom do you place your trust?" And he answers,
"In God."
The master then takes him by the right hand and says, "Since in God you put your trust, arise and follow your leader and fear no danger." So the senior deacon then conducts the candidate 3 times regularly around the lodge. So it's kind of like symbolic. Who do you place your trust? And he says, "In God." And I guess he's blindfolded, and then this senior deacon or whatever it is walks him around blindfolded as if the senior deacon is God. So behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Fuck yeah, dude. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down the beard, Aaron's beard, and went down into the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For their Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. So it goes on, but alright here. The master likewise demands of him from where he came and where he is traveling. The candidate answers, from west, and I'm traveling to the east. The master inquires, why do you leave the west and travel to the east? The candidate answers, in search of light. The master then says, since the candidate is traveling in search of light, will you please conduct him back to the west from whence he came and put him in the care of the senior warden, who will teach him how to approach the east, the place of light, his body erect at the altar before the master, and place him in the proper position to take upon him the solemn oath of obligation of an entered-apprentice mason, with the heel of the right foot against the ankle of the left. The candidate then kneels on his left knee. The candidate's left hand is then put under the Holy Bible, the square and compass, and then his right hand on them. The worshipful master approaches him and says, Mr. A.B., you are now placed in the proper position to take upon you the solemn oath or obligation of an entered-apprentice mason. And that is as follows. I, A.B., of my own free will and accord, in the presence of Almighty God, and this worshipful lodge of free and accepted Masons, dedicated to God and held forth to the Holy Order of St. John, do hereby and herein most solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will always hail, ever conceal, and never reveal any part or parts, art or arts, point or points of the secret arts and mysteries of ancient Freemasonry, which I have received, am about to receive, or may hereafter be instructed in, to any person or persons in the known world, except it to be a true and lawful brother Mason, or within the body of a just and lawfully constituted lodge of such. Furthermore, I do promise and swear that I will not write, print, stamp, stain, hew, cut, carve, indent, paint, or engrave it on anything movable or immovable, under the whole canopy of heaven, binding myself under no less penalty than to have my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the roots, and my body buried in the rough sands of the sea at low water mark. Alright, so then they ask, Brother, what do you most desire? And the answer is light. The master of the brethren, stretch forth your hands and assist in bringing this new-made brother from darkness to light. The members having formed a circle around the candidate, the master says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And at the same time all the brethren clap their hands, stamp on the floor with their right foot as heavily as possible, the bandage dropping from the candidate's eyes at the same instant, which, after having been so long blind and full of fearful apprehension all this time, this great and sudden transition from perfect darkness to a light brighter, if possible, than the meridian sun in a midsummer's day, sometimes produces an alarming effect. So then they have the worshipful master approaching the apprentice from the east under the sign and due guard of entered-apprentice mason, and presented him with a lambskin white apron, which he said was an emblem of innocence and a badge of a mason, that had been worn by kings, princes, and potentates of the earth who had never been ashamed to wear it. So put on your apron, boy. What was you next presented with? 3 precious jewels.
What were they?
A listening ear teaches me to listen to the instruction of the master, but more especially that I should listen to the calls and cries of a worthy distressed brother. A silent tongue teaches me to be silent in the lodge, that the peace and harmony thereof may not be disturbed, and the mysteries of Freemasonry are safely lodged in the repository of faithful breasts. Okay, why were you hoodwinked? Which means that they take basically a canvas bag and stick it over your head. And the little mind-controlled apprentice answers, that my heart might conceive before my eyes beheld the beauties of Masonry. That's great. Why did they stick a bag over your head? So his eyes beheld the beauties of Masonry. Oh, great. A second reason. As I was in darkness at the time, it was to remind me that I should keep the whole world so respecting Masonry. And then why did they tie a rope around your neck? Why had you a cable tow about your neck? In case I had not been submitted to the manner and mode of my initiation, that I might be led out of the lodge without seeing the form and beauties thereof. So they stick a bag over your head and a dog leash on you, and they walk you around the lodge while they're sticking compass needles in your chest and stuff, giving you a pair of boxer shorts they keep around for everyone to wear. All right. I will now introduce the reader to the second degree of Masonry. It is generally called passing. I shall omit the ceremonies of opening and closing, as they are precisely the same as the first degree. Okay, once again, the room is prepared as before. All his clothing is taken off, except for his shirt. He is furnished with a pair of boxer shorts, his left breast bare, of course, his left foot in a glass slipper, the right bare, and he has a dog leash around his neck. But this time he's semi-hoodwinked. And don't forget the precious 2 knocks this time. Who's there? A worthy brother who has been regularly initiated as an Entered-Apprentice Mason. And now I search for more light.
Is it of your free will and accord that you make this request?
It is.
You got your panties on, boy?
I do.
Your lambskin?
As always.
Are you hoodwinked? Do you have your leash on, gimp boy?
I do. I have my lambskin, my group boxer shorts, my leash, my leather spiked mask. I am ready. The master steps off from the candidate. Brother, you now discover me as master of the lodge, approaching you from the east, under the sign and due guard of a fellow craft mason. Do as I do. You could pass on to the worshipful master in the east. As they approach the worshipful master, he inquires, "Who comes here? Who comes here?" The junior deacon answers, "A fellow craft mason. You have been admitted to the middle chamber of King Solomon's temple for the sake of the letter G. It denotes deity, before whom we all ought to bow with reverence, worship, and adore. It also denotes geometry, the fifth science, it being that on which this degree was principally founded. By geometry we may curiously trace nature through her various windings to her most concealed recesses. By it we must discover the power, the wisdom, and the goodness of the grand artificer of the universe, and view with delight the proportions which connect this vast machine. By it we may discover how the planets move in their different orbits and demonstrate their various revolutions. By it we account for the return of seasons and the variety of scenes which each season displays to the discerning eye. Numberless worlds surround us, all formed by the same divine architect, which roll through this vast expanse, and all conducted by the same unerring law of nature. A survey of nature and the observations of her beautiful proportions first determined man to imitate the divine plan and study symmetry and order. The architect began to design, and the plans which he laid down, being improved by experience and time, have produced works which are the admiration of every age. The lapse of time, the ruthless hands of ignorance, and the devastations of war had laid waste and destroyed many valuable monuments of antiquity on which the utmost exertion of human genius has been employed. Even the Temple of Solomon, so spacious and magnificent, and constructed by so many celebrated artists, escaped not the unsparing ravages of barbarous force.